compiled on a publicly available website. After police in Seattle, Washington retreated from the Capitol Hill neighborhood, protesters took over the abandoned regime precinct and erected barricades to mark an autonomous zone for several blocks around it. 6 blocks of downtown Seattle have been declared the Free Capitol Hill Zone, or Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, according to area activists that have taken control of Seattle PD's East Precinct on 12th Avenue and East Pine Street. The Free Thought Project reports journalist Julio Rosas tweeted photos from the zone, including flyers demanding that Seattle PD be defunded, and declaring that police will, quote, always be racist because capitalism requires inequality, end quote. Police Chief Carmen Best confirmed that her department evacuated the precinct on Monday evening as an exercise in trust and de-escalation. 2 days earlier, Seattle PD used flashbangs and pepper spray to push back demonstrators at 11th Avenue and Pine Street, just a block away, after they had moved a security barricade and allegedly threw objects at officers. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
An amateur sailor has announced his plans to sail around the world to decrease awareness of important global issues. 29-year-old Michael Gilmer will cover approximately 28,000 nautical miles over 3 months, all the while drawing attention away from famine afflicting several African nations, revolution in the Middle East, flooding in Thailand, and economic instability across 5 continents.
The goal here is to really make people think about a young, overconfident on an expensive boat, rather than the pressing matters of substance that actually affect people's lives.
As Gilmer set off on his journey Thursday, something was happening in Washington. In local news, a cute 8-year-old is beginning to realize how much better she is than ugly girls.
Since I'm cute and they're not, that means that they're not as good as me.
In other news, a slaughterhouse worker is told to stop naming them all. And sure, an area man can watch your cat while his life is falling apart, no problem. You have just participated in a large-scale psychological research study. Please fill out the attached liability waiver and send it to theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in. Talk Live here on the airwaves. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. That's what we call it, Free Talk Live, because we open up the phone lines and you can call in and talk about anything that's on your mind. It's Mark with you,
Richie Rich,
and
the Peakless Mountaineer.
Yeah. So, tell us about yourself, Lee.
What did you like to know?
A little closer to the mic.
That better?
Yeah.
All right. What would you like to hear?
I don't know. I mean, you're joining us on the show. Just want to make sure that folks know who you are, what you're about.
Well, I'm just about to celebrate being here in the free state of New Hampshire for 2 years now.
Excellent.
Heading up to Fork Fest. That's when I first hit the state.
Uh-huh. Sounds good.
Let's see, devoted to liberty lifelong. Self-taught on a whole lot of things. I'm generalist and a interdisciplinary studies. What would you like to know?
That sounds great to me.
Right.
I did bring in some show prep for those that may wish to check up on it. Here it's from Reuters, and a news story. Apparently young U.S. men are having a lot less sex in the 21st century, a study shows. So let's figure out what young is. I think I know what U.S. is. Sexual activity among young American men has declined sharply since 2000, with nearly a third reporting no sex with a partner in the prior year, according to a survey study published on Friday that suggests, let's see, how long ago is this? So that's relatively recently. Okay. Suggests social media and electronic gaming might be filling the void.
Video games have gotten so good.
Well, admittedly, they are. But is the social media thing putting likes on hot girls' pictures? Is that what is filling the void?
Well, there's definitely an aspect of video games being the replacement for sort of the classic go down and hunt your prey kind of thing, whether it's in the job market or the sexual market.
Indeed. The survey found that from 2000 to 2018, nearly 1 in 3 U.S. men aged 18 to 24. Are you guys in that age bracket at all?
No.
Nope.
Neither one. Okay, great. I am most assuredly not. Reported no sexual activity in the past year. I didn't have personally a lot of sex between the ages of 18 and 24 either. There was a real dry period from 18 and a half to about 28 when I was in prison. But
in prison? No?
yeah, just didn't have any while I was in there. Sorry.
And what was the percentage there?
A percentage of
over a year without sex?
Yeah, nearly 1 in 3 U.S. men aged 18 to 24 reported no sexual activity in that time frame.
So a 6-year period. My longest dry spell is like
in the past year. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
In the past year, I was checking levels there and I wasn't looking. Lack of sexual activity or sexual inactivity was also on the rise among men and women aged 25 to 34. How about y'all? In that age bracket?
Just over.
Okay.
30 was it 35 to 44?
25 to 34.
Nope, out of that age bracket as well.
Okay, great. Years during the survey period. Let's see. Possible reasons for the decline in sexual frequency may also include stress of juggling work and intimate relationships, as well as the prevalence of other forms of solo entertainment. There are now many more choices of things to do in the late evening than there once were, and fewer opportunities to initiate sexual activity if both partners are engrossed in social media, electronic gaming, or binge watching, says Gene Twingay from the Department of Psychology.
Binge watching is supposed to lead to the sexual engagement.
It's supposed to be Netflix and chill, right?
It's supposed to be. I think you guys are doing it wrong if you're just Netflixing.
Well, what I saw today at my house, and I was demoralized by it, just this brief moment. It doesn't happen very much at my house. We have this kind of rule against screen time and that kind of thing. I looked up from my phone while I was watching YouTube. I was using two screens at once.
Of course.
I saw my wife with her big headphones on, so she can't hear much of anything going on, watching something on probably YouTube or certainly some streaming video thing. And my son engrossed in some video game with, I think what he's doing is building Mario Brothers screens in Minecraft. So
okay.
each level, like 3.1 or something, I've heard him say like these 0.1s or whatever. Each level he builds individually in Minecraft so that you can first person go through the level and experience it as Mario.
So I will say this on behalf of your son then. Minecraft is subversively educational.
Yes.
If you didn't already know that.
Yeah.
So
I'm not delighted. I'm just not as horrified.
Okay.
Well, it's certainly a creative outlet.
Because it's you learn a whole they learn a whole bunch while they think they're playing games about a vast number of things. So I'm okay with like kids on Minecraft.
So what do you think kids are learning from Minecraft?
Well, he's learning architecture, right, and engineering. Number one,
it builds amazing things. There's no doubt.
Right. You have to collaborate with other builders if you want to, or you could collaborate with other builders. You learn patience because a lot of times you have to mine. You have to actually, do grunt work and mine the.
Not in this case.
So in that case, okay. Well,
there's two modes.
Okay.
There's survival mode and there's creative mode.
Okay.
Survival mode, you have to face the zombies. In creative mode, you just have everything at your disposal to build whatever you're building.
So our form of unstructured play has moved online at this point.
Yes.
Yes, and we have rules, of course. There's a certain amount of outdoor time that must be spent. It is not as long as I would like, but it does occur. It's hard right now with the COVID thing because, he just found some boys in the neighborhood and their mom just said they can't play. And that was today, and, it's harder. than it was, and it's frustrating. But
making friends in the neighborhood is difficult to begin with.
Well, it's difficult to make friends in the neighborhood. It's difficult for young people to apparently have sex. Like, the world has changed dramatically. I'm not saying that, all my sexual choices from 18 and a half on or to earlier than 18 and a half were particularly good choices. But, I also think it says something about the world now that young people are having a lot less sex. So
well, I've heard that this is the most conservative generation that we've had since the 50s. So this would definitely be in line with that.
By their own choice?
Well, I think that any time that society moves very far in one direction, there's an inevitable swing back from that direction. So that might be what you're seeing here with the ascendancy of essentially the 60s movement and the sexual liberation, and that's pretty much taken over the entire government structure as well as society. So you might be seeing a swing back from the sort of free love perspective.
I've seen numbers that support what you're saying, that this is the most conservative generation in some time. I've also seen numbers that say that it's from a political standpoint, they're only marginally more conservative than, say, the millennials. So you kind of have this conservative in lifestyle versus conservative in political thought. And as far as conservative in lifestyle goes, right, kids don't go out in the evening like they used to. I begged to be able to stay out past 12:30 because I lived out in the country. 12 o'clock. At 12:30 meant I had to leave my friends at 12 o'clock, and 12 o'clock seemed too early because they were all doing things and I had to go.
Yep.
And I don't think that's happening nearly as much as it used to.
Well, that was the only way you could socialize.
Right.
I mean, back in the day, you had to actually meet a person face to face if you wanted to have any social interaction with them.
Right.
So now, I mean, why leave the house when I can just go on Facebook?
It seems to be, I guess that's what social media is. And I suspect the young people aren't actually doing Facebook. They're doing some other TikTok or whatever the heck they're doing.
And the video games, in order to play like multiplayer games, you have to have your own rig and setup. So like the old, I'm going over to my friend's house to play video games doesn't exist. It's like, I'm going to leave my friend's house so then we can go online and play video games together.
That's interesting. I hadn't considered that, but it absolutely has to be true.
It is.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. What do you think about this? Is it good? Is it bad? Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. And you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves. It is Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
The number, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. You can call in and talk about whatever you want. What we're talking about at this time is that apparently young men in the United States, and frankly, young women to some extent, I guess that I'm interested in finding out how it is that young men are having less sex and young women are doing okay.
Does it say young women as well? Because the headline was only young men, right?
Right. It said lack of sexual activity or sexual inactivity was also on the rise among men and women aged 25 to 34. So the young women 18 to 24 can get it, apparently.
Well, because that's the peak.
But they must be getting it from men over the age of 34?
Those are the ones that have the money to pay now.
I guess that's the answer.
Well, I'm sure part of it is the whole the movements that have been happening now to, partially demonize sex, but were aimed at avoiding sexual misconduct in the workplace and things like that. And a lot of those are more aimed at men than at women, so that's definitely a risk factor that I'm sure people are avoiding now.
I would agree 100% that that's so. Not to say that workplace sexual harassment is great, but there are consequences to just about everything.
Well, I mean, it's a part of a better problem. I mean, we really haven't figured out exactly how we're going to integrate sexuality and sexual conduct in a mixed gender workplace.
Right. I mean, workplaces being mixed gender is a relatively new phenomenon.
It really
and
is.
What did that look like? I can tell you 20 years ago when I was in the regular workplace, instead of, Free Talk Live is my real job, and I work at it most of the time from my basement, and then I come here to the studio where I work with my business partner and the guest hosts, whom are by and large all male, not because we hire males, but because women just don't even want to come? And
because it's dominated by males.
What do you want me to do about that?
Lonely libertarian males.
Go to saveatpurse.com. There you can buy things from Amazon at up to 25%, up to 30% off of your purchases. It's saveatpurse.com. That's saveatpurse.com. You sign up there, and it's a way to use cryptocurrency to save money on purchases. Let's go to Brian calling in from Missouri, listening on YouTube. Brian, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
First time caller. Been listening for years. I love the show. I just think I might be able to have some input on tonight's topic.
You are welcome.
I graduated high school in 2001. So you said that study was from 2000, right?
Well, no, the study was from 2000 to 2018. Yeah.
No, I got you. So I'm definitely following that range. And I can remember back in the days of like Super Nintendo and Sega and all that, like being able to go to a friend's house and actually play on the same console and even be able to do a little bit of the online stuff then that wasn't as prevalent, as it is nowadays. But I think the main thing, like with me anyway, was more of the religious aspect. My grandmother, she died of complications from cancer. She had breast cancer, and it had spread to her face, and then it went away, and then it came back as double pneumonia, and she passed away right as I was going into 6th grade. And so, with that whole religion thing, like I would have maybe had a chance to have some activity, like maybe once going into 8th grade.
That would be rather early.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
Early for the sex, not too early to start looking.
No, it's not early to start looking. It's just you don't generally know what to do at that time frame.
I agree with that.
So
there was that, and then later on, like right as I graduated high school, a neighbor of mine tried to hook me up with one of her best friends, and like we'd talk on the phone and stuff, but nothing ever happened because I'm like, my grandmother died, and so I want to try to, be as good as I can and all that kind of stuff. Or I'd be able to see her again, like in heaven and all that kind of stuff. So I think that between that and that was a big guy around like about 5'9". I was maybe like in the 280s, and so you've got like the girls, even the bigger girls, like always wanted like the thinner guys and stuff like that. So
that's one of the complaints that I've heard up to this point is that how do I describe it? A woman,
as delicately as possible.
Right, I'm going to do my very best. Like, let's presume that on a scale of 1 to 10, everybody exists in sort of demographic groups, right? Like, so, women who are a 2 in the 16 to 24 age group can still date up as far as men go, and they can get the 4s and 5s amongst the guys, leaving the guys who are 1s to 3s stuck.
Sure.
Without.
So and do what you can. Take care of yourself. Hit the gym. Don't be a 3.
I suppose there's good advice to that one. Brian, thanks for sharing with us on this one. It's it's delicate, right?
Right. So I will share this bit of personal information because he mentioned like the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. For a few years, my mom thought that I may be gay because I stood some girls up to play Nintendo 64. Like I met them, we were out and about, met them, got the phone number, did the phone thing, and then was supposed to have like a date. And I went, no, I'm going to play Cruising USA instead. Just didn't bother.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's a perfect example of what I was talking about, where that sort of internal desire for a quest that you can, win or lose depending on how you handle it. Well, you can play a video game.
I could.
And then you don't have to, deal with as much emotional investment. You don't have to, risk getting your feelings hurt if you get rejected. You can just find out, okay, well, I didn't beat that Cruising USA. I'll try again.
Yeah, I don't even know if I was worried about the rejection. I just went, no, you know what? I'm having too much fun right now.
and the thing is I also believe that people don't generally know what their motivations are. Right? Like all of that internal dialogue could have been going on sort of a subconscious level, or whatever the reason was you chose not to. And you don't even know why you choose to do the things that you choose, I think is sort of one of the difficulties of the human condition. And yeah, I mean, I have said I'm not going out tonight. Usually not with plans, but just sort of like there's always standing plans to go out with somebody somehow. Yeah. And I'm staying in tonight, that kind of thing. And I'm going to do video games or whatever. And so, yeah, I guess it's happened to me too. Wouldn't complain about my sex life before I got married, and now that's largely up to my wife.
Well, I wasn't complaining about a sex life because it didn't exist at the time.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
I'd like to tell you about our newest innovations in helping to keep our communities safe. Problem Creation Policing. Problem Creation Policing, or PCP, is a way to get the entire community involved in maintaining a safe neighborhood. This is more than just a neighborhood watch. We plan to have officers on the ground, helping, aiding, and surveilling for illicit activities. You never know when you're going to find some young punk doing something illegal out in public. That's why we're going to have officers everywhere. You never know when they're going to pop up. So we want PCP in our homes, at our jobs, and in our schools. We want PCP everywhere. How can you get involved in PCP? Well, for starters, you can call your local authorities and ask them how you can get PCP. I'm Byron Kingsley from the Citizens Respecting the Authority of Police.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about what's on your mind. We're talking about young people, young men, and their sexual habits and how they're changing.
The authorities on those issues.
Right, as though we know a thing. Thank God we've got an article to read from Reuters. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
Is that Peakless?
Peakless.
Peakless Mountaineer.
It's the opposite of bottomless pit.
Got it. Want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Regardless of where you are on the crypto knowledge continuum, Bitcoin.com has something for you. If you know nothing, they've got the Getting Started tabs right there at Bitcoin.com. Find out about it. You can procure some Bitcoin Cash. You can get a wallet that contain your Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. You can do what you need to do right there. If you know a great deal, you should go to news.bitcoin.com and check out the news stories there. They've got the real journalists writing real stories at news.bitcoin.com. And Bitcoin.com has been a long-time sponsor of Free Talk Live. So there you go, news.bitcoin.com. Let's go to Robert, calling from South Carolina. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live.
Okay, sir. Hello. I just wanted to say that, you know, when I was a young man, my mom, just to give you a little bit of an idea, the parents, my mom was Catholic. She was half Roman, half Italian Swiss. My father was Jewish, 3/4 Ashkenazi Jew from Heidelberg, Germany, 1/4 Sephardic Jew from Venice, Italy. So, of course, they had different perspectives. And when I grew up, there was only one high school that was not public, and that was a Catholic high school. So I had good enough credentials to get to there. And what they tell you is...
Robert, before you go on, did you need to be credentialized to go to the Catholic school?
I don't think I would have made it in if I weren't at that time, because there were Catholic boys and girls in my grammar school, because I went to the last year of grammar school to 8th grade at a Catholic school, and some of the children there didn't make it in. It was in Orange County, New York, and we had like one Catholic school in Goshen, New York, and there were probably tons of Catholic kids who would like to have gone to a Catholic school, but the school only had 600 people, 600 students in it, so 100 to 150 per class, and in Orange County, there were probably many, many more who would have liked to have gone. And yes, you did, absolutely. You had to. I mean, I didn't. I think everybody was Catholic who went there. Yes, I believe so.
Or at least claim to be to get in.
Please go ahead with your story then.
Okay, so anyhow, so my mom, you know, first of all, it's the school. The school, they gave us the impression, they gave the boys the impression, at least I got the impression, that they kind of indicated that, you know, be careful of girls because, you know, if God forbid that you should get one of them pregnant, because you can be paying for them and kids, like, for the rest of your life.
That's a reality.
And I found out from excuse me?
That's a reality.
Okay, and then for the girls, I found out from a girl actually who went to a Catholic school in Berlin, Germany. She told me girls didn't tell me what they were telling her at our high school. The girls, I didn't have that good of a connection to the girls so that they would tell me what the secrets were and what the nuns were telling them. But anyhow, I found out from this girl in Berlin. She told me that the Catholic Church, she went to Catholic school too, and she told me that the nuns were telling the girls there that watch out for the boys because they're basically only interested in sex. So that wasn't, you know. So I personally was a very conservative kind of a guy. I was very careful with my money. I had a business that I started at the age of 11, a lawn mowing service, and had other boys helping me do the lawns. So I made a fair amount of money, invested in stock. Yeah, I invested in the stock exchange already, New York Stock Exchange, myself, and then, of course, later they changed to the New York State Gift to Minors Act, so that I had to have a custodian. So my mom and my grandparent and my maternal grandfather were my custodians, so they kind of rubber stamped all my decisions. And in any case, so I had a fair amount of money, and I certainly didn't want to divide it up with anybody else who I maybe wouldn't even have gotten along with. I don't know. So I was really, really careful with that. So in any case, I got this book. It's called The Front Runner. It was about the gay lifestyle and stuff like that. So I when I was visiting my father's house, my grandmother, I took it down with me. My grandmother, she was the one who was half Sephardic Jew and half Ashkenazi Jew, and she was always, she didn't have any. She was always interested in what I was doing, and she gave me all kinds of advice and stuff like that. So she took a look at the book and discovered what it was, and she gave me a lecture about that. With my mom, when I went out to a disco when I was a young fellow, she said to me, she kind of indicated to me, now if you come home with a boy, it's okay. So anyhow, my great uncle, he heard that, and he says, and I heard through the door after I left, he chided her for telling him that. He said to me, what's the matter with you? You saying something like that to him? And then I heard through the door of my mom's bedroom when my stepfather was talking to her. She asked my stepfather, what do you think about being gay? And he said, I don't think it's a very good idea. Although
I don't think it's a very good idea.
So, but anyhow, my stepfather, he went to medical school in Germany and then went to Austria, and had a best friend down in Austria, and they went to Berlin on a motorcycle to get together on motorcycles together to Berlin during the 1930s, early 1930s, and Berlin was known for gay bars and that kind of a thing. And my stepfather,
I think it still is.
I got the idea that maybe he had been gay in his earlier years. My mom did too. My mom's a clinical psychologist, so she kind of knew her way around about how to figure those kinds of things out.
And then he was cured at some point during his life?
No, he did. He suppressed it 100%.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's and,
it's
and
a long
I know
time
a lot
ago,
of guys who,
and
yeah,
lifestyles
exactly,
were different.
of course.
Probably smarter
Yes,
back
exactly.
then, safer to suppress it, as bad as that sounds.
Yeah, as long as you don't end up suicided yourself.
Right.
But in any case,
So when did it happen, Robert? When did it happen?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
When did it happen?
What happened?
Yeah, did you?
Oh well, what I did is I actually ended up not getting married, for and being kind of suspicious among. I mean, I had a lot of friends who got married. Okay, one of them, his wife attacked him every time he fell asleep, his wife would attack him with a hanger, so he couldn't even fall asleep at their house anymore. And another friend, he married a woman who was Ukrainian, and her father was Ukrainian, and I went to visit him out in California to see how he was doing. So we went out for a ride together in his car, in his Porsche, and she felt neglected. So she got in her car. Somehow she found us in California on the street someplace. I don't know how she found us, and we were riding in. And she rammed the back of his Porsche with her Pontiac. She was so mad at him for leaving her alone and neglecting her. So I figured to myself, oh my God, is this the way? And my own parents, they were fighting all the time, most of the time too. It was like cats and dogs. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, there were knockdown, drag-out fights between my mom and my father. So I figured to myself, man, oh man, I better be careful, real careful, because once you sign that contract, I mean, and have kids.
Well, that's the God's honest truth. I mean, but it's kind of about sex here as opposed to marriage, and I think that those.
Well, that's a really big concern there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that lets you safely have sex is by having a very stable relationship with someone. And I mean, we're not really getting a lot of examples of stable, healthy, functional marriages that don't end in a divorce. So when you don't really have that as an example, a lot of people are like, well, it's too risky, whether it's monetary risk or getting hit with a hanger or whatever it is.
I mean, I can see why this would make it so you didn't want to get married.
Well,
did you ever get married, Robert?
I'm still queer. I'd like to have kids, and I'd like to have a family. I'm responsible for my home life and my outside life. And men are good. They say in German that men are good foreign ministers, but not very good interior ministers. And maybe with women it's the other way around. I really don't know because I'm not a woman, so I don't know. But in any case, my home life is a disaster. I mean, you should see it. It looks like a disaster hit it, as my maternal grandmother used to say about my room. So but on the other hand, I figured to myself, it's better safe than sorry. I mean, at least I don't have to come home to a place where I can't even sleep. If I close my eyes, I get attacked or something like that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Vet the woman before you bring her to your house and invite her to stay there, man.
Yeah.
Or go to hers. That's also safer.
Thanks for the call. There are
no movies about vetting women before you get together with them permanently.
Well, it's really good advice. I must say that yeah. And things can go very poorly. And if you aren't as in tune with interpersonal relationships as some, then you can pick badly. And picking badly is, well, it's the most important decision of your life, so therefore picking badly is really bad. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. We'll go on with the study on young people and sex. Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
Oh, so you're wearing a mask every day now? Where are you getting them?
The same website where I get my neck and body wraps, sunnybay.com. And they're handmade.
Really?
Just like their wraps in the USA.
Oh, and good quality?
Oh, very good. These are disposable face masks.
And good price?
That's the best part. I get a 10-pack for only $6.
Wow.
Yes, as a public service, we're now sourcing disposable face masks with level 1 protection at sunnybay.com. Get a 10-pack of high-quality, more breathable face masks, only $6. Our face masks are hypoallergenic, latex-free, and made for stress-free all-day wearing. Or choose our N95 respirator masks 2-pack for only $6. Supplies are limited, so place your order at sunny-bay.com, a Biomed DB design company right here in the USA. Go to sunny-bay.com and purchase your disposable face masks online. 10 masks for only $6. Just click sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're talking about young people, young men, and their sexual activity.
I remember those days.
I don't feel that old, but perhaps I am, according to these numbers. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Want to tell you about Crypto Vegas and Anarcho Vegas. These are some events that are going on July 18th and 19th, obviously related events. And like the list of people that are going to be there speaking is just really, really long. And this is just a partial list that I have here in front of me. I will be emceeing Crypto Vegas. The two websites are anarchovegas.com and cryptovegasconference.com. There's probably a link in between them, but I never found it. Either way, they're cheap. $20.20 to go to both of these conventions. So $40.40 for them every day. Plus there's VIP tickets and all that stuff. You can use code FTL to get 10% off that said VIP ticket. Not the $20.20, because what do you want? I mean, it's a conference. You're going to $20.20, you're practically walking in for free. Again, please come join us July 18th and 19th for Crypto Vegas and Anarcho Vegas 2020. Back to the story, guys, from Reuters. By analyzing biennial survey data between 2000 and 2018, meaning every other year they did a study between 2000 and 2018, from nearly 10,000 men and women aged 18 to 44. Researchers found that 16.5% of respondents in total, both genders, reported, or sexes, whatever I'm supposed to say there, I don't know, reported less sexual activity from 2016 to 2018 versus 9.5% in 2000 to 2002, mostly among unmarried heterosexual men. So, just as you presumed, gay guys can get it because gay guys want to have sex with gay guys, and gay guys have the sex drive that gay guys do, right? Which is probably the same as a heterosexual man's sex drive, but it doesn't have the inhibitions that perhaps women do because gay guys don't get pregnant. And let's see. And
at least back then they didn't. Who knows now?
Who knows now, right? And of course, young women, I don't have difficulty finding a sexual partner if they want it. I have used this analogy many times in my life that if I and a attractive woman go knocking on doors on a given street asking for sex, within 5 doors, she will be on her back and I will be in jail. And that's the reality of just being male or female.
So one thing I wanted to add about, you talked about how the different levels of attractiveness and what you can get vary on male to female. So one of the interesting things is that over a large study, the majority of women will consider 80% of men to be less than average of attractiveness.
Really?
Yeah, 80% are less than average attractiveness.
That's obviously statistically impossible.
Yes, it is, but that is the perspective. Whereas,
so is that just
men,
by a picture?
Yeah, they would show them picture after picture after picture, and overall they'd end up with 80% of them being considered less than average attractiveness.
So I think that's kind of
because Hollywood is average.
Right.
Well, that might be true, and these are some of the difficult. I think that for women, that attractiveness goes up as they find. So what they did, I've also found with women is that men can be more attractive based on what they're doing in a given picture or video.
That's very true.
So if they're vacuuming, perhaps they're more attractive or less attractive. I'm not entirely sure.
That one, it pretty much is what you would expect from a cliche. If it's more outdoor activity, mowing the lawn, fixing the car, traditionally masculine roles, they tend to find them more attractive than if they are washing the dishes, vacuuming, things like that.
Oh, interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that I don't doubt that at all. So it's the activity that a guy does can raise his attractiveness, probably making those 30% of guys, bringing them up to the, like men are human doings as opposed to human beings by our modern society.
So guys, now you know what pictures to put on your dating profile. Right. Get out there with your shirt off and do something manly.
Perhaps. I don't know if your shirt off.
Well, I mean, part of it's just a deep-based survival instinct of you want men out on the perimeter, so if something comes along that wants to eat you, they're there first, because they can throw things better.
So I, back when I had a dating profile, this is a long time ago. These are the days of hotornot.com. I don't even know if this website is still on the internet, but it's a long time ago. I had two pictures, and they were, like one was sort of a normal picture, t-shirt and shorts and a ball cap, and another one was me at a party after work with a balloon in my hand. After work, meaning I had an Oxford shirt, a pressed Oxford shirt on, and a pair of slacks. So what I think, and one of them did significantly better than the other. I got up to a 9.3. This is a rating on a scale of 1 to 10 on Hot or Not based on this one with the Oxford shirt and the balloon. The other one sat in the mid-8s,
That's
and
still pretty high, man. Congratulations.
Wasn't too bad, right?
For Hot or Not, yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been off the dating market a long time, so it does me no good.
Still, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I'll give you props for that.
Yeah, the studies on that are crystal clear, too. Like, if you take a very unattractive man and put him in a business suit, or like you were saying,
sharp-dressed man.
Exactly. They will rate much higher than if you take just a very, very handsome man and, put him in a McDonald's uniform.
Yeah, I would say that that's exactly the truth. And that's sort of what I had found there was that, it changed everything. So
well, and a lot of that has to do with the roles that we're basically expected to play as providers, whereas physical attractiveness is more important as an indicator of fertility.
And I will go on and further say that I found in the sort of bar market, like cruising the bars and that sort of thing, if I didn't go home and change, because this was the era where you were supposed to, there were certain types of shirts and stuff you were told that you were supposed to wear when you went out. But if I just went out after work and loosened my tie and unbuttoned the top button, I didn't even wear a jacket. This is Florida, and just had the press slacks that of course had creases from a day's worth of work, and the press shirt
collar too.
No, I did not pop a collar. No way. It's not that long ago. And then the shirt would of course have creases from a day at work, but this is a guy who went out directly after work, and it was obvious that's what happened. This is a guy who works in this attire, and that would make a big difference as far as dating went from me trying to pick out my own clothing. And I had women try to pick it out for me. I picked it out my own, like these kind of things. And this isn't the easiest thing. Sometimes you got an outfit that really works, and boy, you should work that outfit that really works. But what worked for me was simply this attire of looking like I worked in a pressed shirt, because I did work in a pressed shirt. And it's like, oh, here's a guy who works, and
White
we'll
collar,
take that.
He's got a job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basic standard met.
Let's go to Dan calling in for Virginia. Dan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Always enjoy your show, and I'm glad
Thank
you're
you.
here. I think the answer to a lot of these questions is multifaceted, and I would love to know the demographics of that survey. I live in
men and women aged 18 to 44, 10,000 of them.
Okay, and what was that, all across the country, or?
That's what it's saying.
Okay, all right. Just as a lifetime resident in Virginia Beach, Virginia, if you're in that age bracket and you come to the beach in the summertime, it's amazing how women lower their standards when they're at the beach for a week. That's the best way I know how to put it.
So, like you've done a certain level of research as a beach bum, is what you're saying? You went in there,
yes,
and you could pick them up.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I was a lifelong resident.
I was a lifelong resident of Sarasota, Florida, and if I would have been willing to go for women significantly older than myself, I suppose that would have been the case too. But we're much more of a geriatric destination. So
just get them to put you in their will.
Well, a lot of women come to the beach in the wintertime. I mean, in the summertime, to have a week off, and it's a whole different atmosphere. But from a realistic point of view, I don't know who would agree with me on this, but I think, because the survey went from 2000 to 2018, is that correct?
Yep.
Every other year.
Yeah, and I would say that pornography online has a lot to do with that.
I'll bet you're right. I got one more question. Did you work the beach or did you work the beach bars? It makes a difference.
The beach.
You work the beach itself. Interesting.
Well, I would think in that aspect, there's people going on
Best line I ever heard. My friend had a line, and it was so simple.
Quick.
Like he would. Oh, okay. He would see a lady there by herself and say, "Would you like some help rubbing that suntan oil in?"
It's a good line. You're right. Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,738, silver at $18.34, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,874. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, conflicting reports about COVID-19 have sprung from both official and non-official sources. On Tuesday, Maria Van Kerkhove, PhD of the World Health Organization, caused a firestorm of reactions from health experts across the globe after declaring in a press briefing that transmission of COVID-19 via asymptomatic individuals is very rare. Minpress News reports that less than a day later, Kerkhove was compelled to walk her statements back, clarifying that in essence, no one really knows. The harshest criticisms to the WHO's comments came mostly from the mainstream press, while the scientific community itself seemed more reserved, and in some cases, concurred. Professor Keith Neal, Emeritus Professor of the Epidemiology of Infectious Diseases at the University of Nottingham, conceded that the role asymptomatic transmission plays in the total number of new infections remains unclear, but symptomatic people are responsible for most of the new infections of COVID-19. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Last week, a West Virginia law imposing strict reporting requirements for all asset forfeitures in the state went into effect. Enactment of the bill takes the first step that could lead to substantial reforms, including closing a federal loophole that allows police to bypass strict state asset forfeiture laws. Activist Post reports a bipartisan coalition of 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat introduced the House bill in February. The new law requires law enforcement agencies to report extensive details about asset forfeitures in the state, including the type and value of property seized and whether someone was charged with a crime when the property was forfeited. It also requires reporting on federal equitable sharing. Under the law, the information will be compiled on a publicly available website. After police in Seattle, Washington retreated from the Capitol Hill neighborhood, protesters took over the abandoned regime precinct and erected barricades to mark an autonomous zone for several blocks around it. 6 blocks of downtown Seattle have been declared the Free Capitol Hill Zone, or Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, according to area activists that have taken control of Seattle PD's East Precinct on 12th Avenue and East Pine Street. The Free Thought Project reports journalist Julio Rosas tweeted photos from the zone, including flyers demanding that Seattle PD be defunded, and declaring that police will, quote, always be racist because capitalism requires inequality, end quote. Police Chief Carmen Best confirmed that her department evacuated the precinct on Monday evening as an exercise in trust and de-escalation. 2 days earlier, Seattle PD used flashbangs and pepper spray to push back demonstrators at 11th Avenue and Pine Street, just a block away, after they had moved a security barricade and allegedly threw objects at officers. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Saying that a few images of displaced refugees would probably do the trick, Americans admitted this week that they could probably be talked into another war. Citizens nationwide told reporters that if they were to see a blurry satellite image of potential nuclear weapons or footage of an evil militant group, they could easily see themselves getting on board with another major military effort.
I'm not saying I'd be gung-ho about it right away, but if they called it something like a concentrated military operation or something other than war at first, I could see myself warming up to the idea. Honestly, just hearing a top official on TV say something like patriotic duty might clinch it.
And in this week's op-ed pages, an area man finds it's just his luck to lose thousands at the blackjack tables every night for the past few weeks. In other news, a senator tries submitting a rejected bill to the Canadian Parliament. What mom would have wanted is evolving over the course of funeral planning. And a new report finds you're actually saving money with a Franklin Skate Center roller rink membership.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We are, this evening, taking your mind off of...
Don't say it.
Burning buildings.
Don't say it.
Protests. Maybe the odd riot.
Oh, now they're going to call in and talk about
Chaz. Everything with...
Have you ever been chazzed? It's a delight.
Well, that's what we're talking about, is apparently young men in America are getting chazzed less and less. Because here we are with a story from Reuters that says that from 2018 to 2000 to 2018, Nearly 10,000 men and women aged 18 to 44 researched here. Researchers found that 16.5% of respondents reported less sexual activity. That's a significant amount in 2016 to 2018 versus 9.5 in 2000 to 2002. Mostly unmarried heterosexual men. And I want to know what that does to a nation, what that does to a generation. I have a certain level of confidence in my life. People would not call me meek. Okay? People don't call me humble. People don't call me most of those terms for, these kinds of things. Introverted, they don't use these terms to describe me. How much of that, and I can only talk about my personal experience because I've only inhabited one body so far.
Well, you're the one that gets to procreate and seed the nation.
Am I the alpha? Because I wouldn't call myself that either. If you actually look at what an alpha male is in sort of nature, I don't exist trying to dominate the other males in any given circumstance.
Well, that's part of being a primate. I mean, the research that they've done is that the more a primate dominates other primates, the more likely it is that two primates half their size are going to tear them apart. Literally in the case of chimps. Whereas if they're more friendly and they make friends with everyone, that's where you get a stable hierarchy.
Well, there you go. Perhaps I'm that kind of monkey. I don't know.
I figure that's the right kind of alpha to be.
Sexual. Well, I'm off the dating market. I don't even see how I could fit into this Greek letter paradigm. I don't get to procreate as I wish. In fact,
they're definitely not the alpha.
It's as she wishes. Sexual, and it's not even procreation at this point, considering I had a vasectomy after my 12-year-old son was born. So I just practice at it. I just, the good old days.
Well, hey, if you're going to fail at something.
Sexual activity is largely unchanged among unmarried women, along with no notable decline among gay men. Men who were unemployed or had lower income were more likely to be sexually inactive, as were men and women who were students. How is that possible? There you are in a school. In those moments when I think to myself, if I were unmarried, how would I go about it? I look at college campuses and I say, my God, that place is ripe for the picking.
Well, it's also ripe for demonization of masculinity.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I hear about those things on the news, but...
Oh, absolutely.
They need better drugs and better rock and roll.
I've heard that even when young people demonize masculinity, young women still like masculinity. Whether they dislike whatever they read about it doesn't mean that they actually dislike it and that they don't really have any choice.
Well, they made it... Women might still go after masculinity, but a lot of it comes back to self-censorship. I mean, if you're taught that basically masculinity is toxic, you're going to keep yourself from pursuing.
Maybe, but here's the other problem too. If you're the guy in that college situation and you know that masculinity is being demonized, you may self-censor yourself, because even if she comes on to you, there's consequences afterwards that they're going to believe her. And
given the circumstance. So you both had a drink or two or five.
Or
who
not
knows?
Even that. You could be sober and they'll, or whatever. If it occurs, because being drunk isn't the only factor, right? Of rape, right? You can have, she can be sober, you can be sober, you can consent at the time, but then she goes and has the conversation with her friends. Right,
changes her mind as to
changes her mind because they've convinced her that it was a toxic male, right? And then what are you going to do as the male? And if you come up through that culture where that's a thing, and you see the news articles, and the reports in your own school, about the guy that had been accused.
Yep.
You don't take the chance.
And the news is rife with these things from,
That's
women who are willing sex partners, following guys around with a mattress, complaining about how they were raped by this guy. And then once you get the story, it wasn't rape, it was just regret.
Yep.
And that she was probably unhinged in some way. It's not like, I mean, like if mental illness exists, then it exists in the female.
Now too.
What's that?
You're getting in trouble for saying that now too.
Well, I'm sorry. If mental illness exists, then it exists in the female of the species because it obviously exists in the species. Then, if it exists in the species, it exists in the dating market. If it exists in the dating market, you could run across a crazy woman, and that ain't gonna go well. So.
Well, and one of the issues in college nowadays is the active consent. So you're supposed to get consent for every single escalation. If you touch a person, you have to ask them first. So if you have any self-doubt whatsoever, you're faced with a no-win situation. Either you can overcome over and over again any amount of self-doubt, or you can violate the ethic that you've been taught to believe in college campus.
So this brings up something for me. I wonder whether that still exists, because it certainly was a thing like 15 years ago. There was colleges were talking about you need to get, may I touch you on your shirt? May I touch your hair? You keep on getting yeses, a series of yeses. And I wonder whether women in college campus have got in high schools and wherever they're doing it. Remember, young women aren't not having sex, are just like, stop asking me things. I'm going to, do what I'm going to do to you. That way you don't have to ask questions. When lesbians are studied, what you find is that over time they stop initiating. Women just stop initiating.
Interesting.
So is this what's happening? Is that relationships die because the men are used to the women initiating and then they don't initiate anymore?
Well, so here's part of the issue, and it ties back into that 80% are below average attractiveness. So you are less likely to be accused.
80% of men are considered by women of certain demographics to be less than 50%.
Across the board.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So now, if you are a very, very attractive man, then you have a much lower risk that someone's going to end up following you around with a mattress. So they have a much lower threshold for risk on that. So you're going to have a much smaller pool of men that are willing to risk being rejected now that rejection comes with a potential prison sentence than average attractiveness men.
The stories I have read are that Tinder, is that the heterosexual one?
Tinder is a dating app.
Yes, Tinder's a dating app for heterosexuals, right?
Right.
Okay, sorry. The Tinder, on 20% of men on Tinder got 80% of the female activity, whatever that activity might look like. I guess it's swiping, right?
Sure.
I've only seen it. I've never participated on Tinder. I've seen people swipe, but that's all.
That's all you do.
That's all I'm gonna do though. I'm not gonna do anything. So that means that 80% of men are fighting over 20% of the activity among women, and well, that's not very nice. That's not going to make things go well. And some of those guys have figured out how to use personality to get more swipes by the things they write down on Tinder and the picture that they put up there. Some guys do very bad jobs where it's like, them with their shirt off with a Busch beer can in their hand or whatever the case may be. So they didn't really
look, man.
cheat.
If you're going fishing, you got to use the right bait. Bush beard and a beer, whatever, that might be getting you the girl you want.
Well, it might. It might be just catch some fish. Who knows? I don't know. Given the preference of men of higher socioeconomic status and the larger number of college-educated women than men, some young men may find it difficult to form heterosexual relationships that researchers note. Higher income could mean more resources to search for partners and could be considered a more desirable by such partners. It just basically, it doesn't look good for young men in America. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. What do you think this means for our nation? 855-450-FREE.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit divvyproject.org. divvyproject.org. Did you know you can support freedom of speech just by visiting shop.freetalklive.com? You'll see links to Walmart, Love Java, Newegg, and more. Every day, Free Talk Live is at the forefront of the liberty movement as the biggest liberty-oriented talk show in the world, giving you a platform to be heard on any topic. Get listener-only specials without doing anything other than an extra click. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. Use the links and buy what you'd be buying anyway. Take action now. Save and support freedom. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. It's shop.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We just finished a story here that basically says that young heterosexual males aren't having nearly as much sex as they did a few short years ago. That this is just diminishing over time, and, well, I don't know what that means. If it continues, what does it mean for the nation? Is it good? Because some people could say this is good. Is it bad?
It will stem the overpopulation issue.
This is one of the
Not
issues.
Necessarily. Well, no, it sounds like the rate of women having sex isn't going down. They're just having sex with a smaller and smaller portion of men. So, no, that's not going to solve your overpopulation issue.
Yeah, that is one thing. I mean, if you have farm animals, you know that you slaughter the males and keep the females. It's it's simple mathematics. Let me tell you about the anypayinc.com is one of their websites, and the one you should go for this is probably one of the most exciting companies out there right now in the cryptocurrency space. We have teamed up with them. We are excited about the things that they do. And if you've got a business and you need to accept cryptocurrencies, AnyPayInc.com is the way to do it. If you are a person who wants to see cryptocurrency accepted on a wide scale, go to AnyPayInc.com and look for their AnyPay Ambassador program and just go find businesses and get paid on whatever cryptocurrency transactions go through that business. It's AnyPayInc.com. That's AnyPayInc.com. And thanks to the good folks over there at AnyPay Inc. Again, I'm very curious about this whole, what happens if they stop having sex. In Japan, this is happening, right? Like young men are, and young women too, to some extent, are just basically not having sex. In some cases, they're not leaving their rooms.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking of when I said that, because in Japan, they're like, they have a population crisis.
Yes.
Because of that. So, but if it's the case is, the women aren't doing it as well, then yeah, I can understand.
Well, that's what's happening in Japan.
Right.
And maybe we go down that road. Maybe we're 2 decades behind them. Who knows what's going on? I don't know. I can't understand why a young person, a young man, because I've never been a young woman, young man would ever not leave their room and just play World of Warcraft and have a waifu pillow and have their parents slide their food to them under the door. Like, I don't get that, but it happens.
It's a very comfortable lifestyle.
Well, again, I mean, you have things that you want to accomplish. You have goals that you set and you work to achieve them. Now, if you can just do that in a digital world, it's much more convenient and there's much less risk.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the goals. It really is.
Exactly.
And for me, the digital world is a treadmill that I hate, because in order to do much of what I want to do, I must do 90% of the things that I do online are worthless to me in a sense of achieving value. Like, yes, my email box is full of spam and pointlessness and things like that. And I have to sort of go through these 200 emails per day in order to achieve these things. And I'm like, I got to find a better way to do this.
I had an old boss who was like reluctant to get on social media, and being young, definitely younger than him, but younger at the time, I was like, this is the new way to interact with people and to generate customers and clients, right? He was like, I got my ad out there. He had his picture on the grocery separator that goes through the line in the grocery. He was like, that's how he was doing. I'm like, nobody cares. Like, you might get a couple off of that, but if you're not posting stuff on social media for people to see regularly, that's where everyone is. That's where you're going to get the name out. So we went through basically a quick tutorial on how to do it. All right, you got to create the account, get on Facebook, set up your page or whatever, and start posting stuff. And he goes, well, how much time do I have to spend on this? I was like, well, how successful do you want to be at it? Right?
Right.
There's people that do it all day. Can you devote a few hours? It's like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm like, well, then don't, but don't expect any results. You get the results from the effort you put in. And
I think you get more results. So like the first 5% of effort is probably worth 25% of results, would be my guess, if you're trying to use social media as marketing. But you have to be in the social media for the demographic you're trying to hit. So if you're trying to hit older people, maybe Facebook's a better place to be. If you're trying to hit younger people, maybe Instagram's the place to be. I don't entirely know. I'm no expert in social media. To me, social media is a cesspool of people's opinions that I don't want to read anymore.
Yeah, but no one picks up a newspaper, right? If you put an ad in the newspaper, how many people are you going to reach versus targeted ads on Facebook or Instagram or whatever?
And if you're looking for older Americans in a given geographic area, then a newspaper might be a good choice. But
Maybe.
It might be it might be just as good on Facebook, because you can hit zip codes and interests and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's tough.
It is. But if you don't want to do it, right, then don't expect to get results from it, and keep treading water as much as you can.
Well, I think you do rightly point out that dating, sex, and business are all about advertising.
That's a fact.
And with more dating going online, right, with all the dating profiles and the websites, you're better off there if you're playing the numbers game than going out to a bar or college campus or wherever and like taking your chances.
There's also the rejection thing. So, I mean, for men especially, like we have like an instinctual desire not to be rejected because that might actually like terminate your bloodline if you get rejected and it gets around the rest of your tribe.
Okay.
So now with something like Tinder, it's they swipe left, they swipe right.
Rejection's
you never know.
painless.
Yes, you never even know if you were rejected. So, like risk-free dating.
Maybe I want to take a different approach to that. Because the rejection, depending on how it happens, can be more harsh. Because like on Tinder or whatever, and there's like a whole Reddit thread about this. If you get the right swipe, and she goes like, "Oh yeah, let's talk," and then you say something stupid in the conversation, that's then made public for the internet. So it's not like you got rejected and then you can then move on, right? It's you got rejected. Your conversation is now posted on social media.
Well, that's a much different form of rejection. I mean, that's a really bold form of rejection.
It can be, but if you're talking about younger people who are on social media all the time, right? College kid, high school, whatever, you find a cute girl, you start texting her, you say something dumb, screenshot, and then shared with the school.
It could happen.
It could happen. I'm sure it does.
So you were saying bars, you don't think that a bar is the way to go. I
didn't say it's not the way to go. I said efficiently, if you're playing the numbers game, you're better off just swiping at home.
Right. Every once in a while, I end up in a bar, and because I am very bad about wearing a wedding band, but to the point that I just don't wear a wedding band anymore.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like to wear it. It's a nervous habit. I twist it. I don't want it on. I'm not social signaling that I'm married to people because I don't wear a wedding band. I'm not going to do anything against against my marriage or anything like that, but I have been in bars and I have been I've had young women give me the idea that perhaps there's an opportunity here, and I have to say that bars don't seem like that unfertile of a ground to me.
Well, and the wedding band could also signal desirability.
I missed both of that, but I would say that the whole idea that a wedding band is somehow going to get you more dates is nonsense.
Okay.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. If you know otherwise, let me know. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Saddle up. It's new Dynavite for horses.
Dynavite does give you quick results. One horse, the first time I fed Dynavite to her, she took off running across the whole pasture as fast as she could. You could just tell she felt great. And it doesn't take much, just one little scoop in their grain. I've been feeding Dynavite to my 5 horses, and within 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in their coat and their behavior. NASDAQ was a 3-year-old thoroughbred, and I only had 8 to 10 weeks to get this horse in shape for the Retired Racehorse Project last year. Dynavite really helped him to relax his muscles, regenerate, rebuild, and stay physically and mentally fit for the job. We got top 20. You do see horses take in these 15 different supplements that are all going to overreact with each other, and I think that would make a very confused horse. Simple is so much better. I get my Dynavite from DINOVIPE.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
The way I do psychic readings is a little bit different. I read the veins of your penis, and I can tell your future.
That is a new one.
Is this a hands-on procedure?
Yeah. Well, what
does it come with a happy ending?
Well, no, guys, I'm a businessman. Right? I'm very professional. I'll tell you why I think he arrested me. I told him, I said, I can see right here that your life's going to be very short. He got upset and arrested me.
So he thought that you were making a comment about his size.
Yeah,
is what
the size of his. Yeah. Look here, I'm only interested in the veins, and I'm very professional.
Now, where did you learn this technique?
Oh, my dad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We've been talking about dating, young people, and sex, and lots of fun, fluffy topics to get your mind off of, well,
so if you're a young person who wants to know about this stuff, call in, because you got 3 experts sitting here.
Experts. Experts.
We used to be young males.
So I want to talk to you about Divi. Divi is a cryptocurrency. Their whole goal is to make cryptocurrency as easy as they possibly can, so easy that your mother or grandmother can use it, is the claim. And they're coming out with they're beta testing right now, their new wallet, which is awesome. It's going to allow you to move between Divi and Bitcoin and government currencies right in the app, and go right into your wallet using Western Union and being available in 200 countries. It will be as simple as using something like Apple Pay or something like that. And it is great tech. Interestingly, Divi had a tremendous jump in value in the last 10 days. And I don't know what that means, but it probably means people on Free Talk Live are hearing about it, and people out there in the world are hearing about it. Don't forget, Free Talk Live is on 200 radio stations across the country. As people hear about these things, well, they're going to get involved at some point or another. DIVI, that's Divi, DIVI project.com. That's, .org. DiviProject.org. Let's go to Daniel calling in from Virginia. Daniel, you're on Free Talk Live. Daniel?
Yeah, Daniel.
What's up?
So, look, I have a few questions, and I wanted to get some advice from some outside guys who have more experience in life than I do.
Perfect. That's what I just suggested.
So I've been dating around for a few years. I'm turning 23 this fall. I've been dating around for a few years. And I don't know, man. I just feel like it's impossible to find a real connection. Like, I want more than anything to fall in love and just build a happy life with someone. Sappy as that may seem, but I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like it's never going to happen. I can't connect with someone on an emotional level. And I'll find someone that I really like that on paper it just seems like it would be a perfect match. We would do things together. I'd enjoy their company. I'd thoroughly enjoy being around them. We would have similar hobbies and interests. We'd like each other's families, but it's just not there. Like, I feel like I'm reaching out for something that's not there. Like when you take a step and you're going up the stairs and you expect that another step, but it's not there and you miss it. Like you're reaching out, going to grasp something that's not there. I don't know if it's me or...
So be clear when you say it's not there. You're not feeling the same emotional response from her, or despite all those congruities, you just don't feel some sort of emotional connection in long term.
Despite, thoroughly enjoying being around someone and liking them for who they are as a person, it's just not like an emotional attachment.
Do you have any idea why that is? I'm just going to ask you before I go on my thing. Do you have any ideas as to why that might be?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm thinking about talking to a therapist or something.
Nah. You could talk to a therapist, and it's never a bad idea to talk to a therapist. I certainly wouldn't turn anyone away from talking to a therapist.
Talk to Mark first. It's free.
You're not broken, okay? You're just not into her, and that's okay. That's what dating is. It's hunting around.
It sounds like you're just not having chemistry with these people. You connect with them on an intellectual and interest and all of that level, but really, a lot of it really just comes down to unknowns of chemistry, where if you don't have the right pheromones to tell them that you've got the right genes to procreate with, there's just not going to be that attraction to it.
Despite having similar hobbies and interests.
Right.
Right. On paper, things match up, and then in real life, they don't. I dated a lot of young ladies that the things matched up, and it looked like it should work. I had no intention of getting married. Why would I get married? It doesn't make any sense to get married. So logically, I was not going to get married. Then I met my wife, and I met a person who not only had a lot of positive attributes and wow, why wouldn't you marry this person? But on top of that, there was a strong desire as far as it went. I was just, into her, and you got to be into them, I think, for it to work. And don't forget, young men, young women, this is the most important decision you're going to make in your life. And when you make it poorly, and you may very well make it poorly the first or second time,
and that's okay too,
you're gonna be sorry. So there you go, Daniel.
Make the poor choices early on and learn from them.
Yeah, it sounds like you've developed some skill with creating a friendship with someone, which is definitely an important part of this. So really, it's just try and try again. If you get good skill at getting that rapport with someone, but you don't have the chemistry for it, well, then develop rapport with someone who you do have chemistry for.
I understand. I appreciate the help.
I would also say set goals and write them down. Set goals and write them down. What do you want out of the relationship, type of a thing. If you had to say my ideal relationship looks like this, put it on paper, and then stop worrying about whether hobbies and interests align, and start worrying about finding that emotional connection with the person that fits what your goal of a relationship is. And if you're lucky, she'll have a similar list that aligns with yours, and then it works both ways.
I appreciate the advice, gentlemen. I'm just, it's gotten to the point where I'm just tired of, I make an emotional connection, or I'll make a connection, but the person I'm with will be really into me, and it comes down to, I have to explain to him each time, look, I'm sorry, but I'm just not feeling this way. And, I don't want to go around breaking hearts.
Oh, I hear you.
It's not what I want to do.
Sex and the City described it this way, that men are kind of like taxi cabs. They date around, and then the light comes on, and the next one that hails the cab gets them. And I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's how it is for you. And it's a pretty cynical way to look at things. I didn't feel like that's how it happened for me, but maybe it was.
Well, I would also suggest doing some self-reflection if that involves a therapist, maybe. Because if you're not feeling that way because on a subconscious level you're self-sabotaging yourself in the relationship with compatible mates, right, then you want to overcome that self-sabotage trigger as well so that you can take the next step in that relationship.
Yeah, I think we've done the best we can here for Daniel. Thank you so much for the call, Daniel, and all the best. Remember, it is the most important decision, and I'll repeat that over and over again. Let's go to Pat calling in from Michigan. Pat, you're on Free Talk Live.
You guys, you got me?
I gotcha.
All right. Yeah, a doc buddy of mine told me this a while back, and it's right in line with what you guys are talking about. Back in the day, a woman, or especially a young girl trying to date a young man, would invite him over for supper, right? Well, her and her mother would cook food. They'd have their hands in the food and whatnot. And I don't understand how it passes through, but the pheromones and something come through the skin, and theoretically, the young man within the next day or two will start having dreams about the young woman, and the more these things transpire, the stronger these dreams get. And we've lost our touch to our food. Everything comes out of a Sara Lee box.
I think
it's scary.
Yeah, I think you're
people
right.
don't even know what a ground and a seed is anymore.
Yeah, I think
they
there's
live in concrete.
I think that there's a lot to be said about this. We ain't nothing but mammals, and the thing that makes us do the things we want to do is, well, it's obscured to us. Why are we attracted to the people that we're attracted to? I don't mean physically looking at a picture attracted. I mean really, in real life, attracted. But I think Pat's got onto something there. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, here on Free Talk Live.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Extendovite really works. Here are some reviews from Amazon.com. John Hess, 5 out of 5 stars. Awesome. Probably my only review, but at age 40, I was getting bad heart throb and left arm pain, mainly before bed. I even stopped smoking and drinking sodas for a month, and that didn't work. After one day of taking Extendovite, it was gone and hasn't returned in 3 years. I've ordered Extendovite 13 times, so Amazon just said. Juliet Hordick. I've ordered this product before in liquid form. It is fantastic. My whole family's been on it. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Dahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on, so it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people and can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Dahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. shopsupertea.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Talk about what's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. Want to tell you about Intercoin. Today, large corporations act as middlemen for our everyday online communications and transactions. I think that is a pretty much an undisputed claim. Often they work hand in hand with governments. In the last few years, these centralized social networks have all launched payment networks. Bitcoin and Ethereum have not been scalable enough to compete, and the team behind Intercoin spent the last decade creating an open, web-based, decentralized social platform to rival Facebook and Google. Now, they can use it to roll out a revolutionary payment platform on top of it. If decentralized crypto doesn't soon gain mainstream adoption to power everyday payments, it'll be Facebook and WeChat's world, and you'll just live in it. Intercoin is attempting to regain some of our freedoms that are threatened on the internet and in the real world, and we think that's important here on Free Talk Live. So important that FTL accepted $40,000 worth of Intercoin tokens from Intercoin Inc. for advertising. Now, we could have taken this ad time and we could have sold it to other people for the same amount of money. Hopefully. So, you can invest in this project and potentially make big gains, or just be involved and perhaps shape its future. It's intercoin.org. That's intercoin.org. And I must say that Free Talk Live is hoping to get more involved as time goes by.
Nice.
So, let's go to Laszlo calling in from the United States. Laszlo, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Richie Rich.
What's
up, man? Oh, my God. The last 2 hours are painful, dude. I'm going to change the topic here.
Okay.
Get into some more cerebral things. You remember I called, Mark, and I explained to you how to have a dig the ditch rather than build the wall.
Oh,
right?
Yes, you were the gentleman who wants the 20-mile wide canal to run along the U.S. border that creates more beachfront property and solves the immigration problem and a variety of things.
Can we get a drawbridge over that?
Climate change, sea level rise, we're correct.
Yeah, okay.
Put people to work, 5 positives.
Got it.
I got a new one for you.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
If it's that good.
All right. So the police in riot gear, right, with the Lexan shields that they carry, do a hologram.
What do you mean?
So the police show up in their riot gear and helmet, right, and they have a Lexan face front, and they can put a hologram on there of whatever is required, whether it's a social worker, whether it's a psychologist, whether it's whatever.
So the hologram would talk to the rioters or protesters or whomever.
Exactly. Right. The cop would be protected and only needed, as a last resort to restrain the individual. I totally agree with taking away their qualified immunity and all of that crap, but we have technology to do this. But we're not going to do it.
You would think that, so I would think the Lexan Shield would be a little on the small side. I mean, and also you'd have, there'd be so many of them. What about just sort of a big projection unit coming out of one of these riot vehicles that, projects soothing music and the talking from the counselor?
No,
thing?
I'm mostly. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Laszlo.
I'm mostly talking about like the, when somebody calls the cops.
Okay.
They show up to the incident, whether it's a domestic dispute, whether it's a burglary or whatever.
So instead of having the police try and de-escalate when that's really not what they're trained in, have someone whose training is in psychology and social work to try and smooth things out and leave them to just the enforcement if that's necessary.
Exactly.
I can't say it's the worst idea I've ever heard in the world, right? Like basically, here's your iPad, cops, and whatever the situation calls for, you just pull up the given psychiatrist or whatever it is and hold up the iPad and talk to the crazy person.
Just like Demolition Man, where he checks the little thing to get advice on how to handle the perpetrator.
Demolition Man is probably one of the most insightful movies of
highly predictive
the last half century.
So with the modern virus thing, you actually see a really good reason for why you would have the boardroom that's in that scene, where you have these swiveling chairs with the faces on screens instead of actually being in each other's presence.
I got to watch Demolition Man tonight. I mean, it's
a great
I got
movie.
to.
I'd watch it anytime.
Do me a favor, guys. Do me a favor, and everybody listening. Go on to pbs.org, find Nova, and find Einstein's Big Idea if you want to look at bigger issues.
Excellent.
When you're moving at the speed of light, light is always moving away from you the same speed. It's amazing. Light is constant. Space and time are not.
I
love you guys.
Idea,
Thank you.
A similar idea that I've heard from Laszlo was not calling the police for incidents that don't require the escalation to violence. Right? If you're going there to take a report, call the people who handle taking the report. If you're going there to handle,
That kind of makes sense, right? Like, what do you really need the police for at an automobile accident?
Right. So the cops
you need an
don't
insurance
go to
adjuster.
Not even the police department, a whole separate department just devoted to that becomes established through whatever system you want to talk about, and then only when they need to escalate to violence do you call the guys with the guns.
Let's go to Crystal calling in from Sacramento. Crystal, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi.
Hey.
This is Crystal, the truck driver.
Thank you,
Sacramento.
Crystal. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm a day late listening to everything. I wanted to thank you guys for all the nice things you were saying about us truck drivers out here.
Oh, I do love the truck drivers.
And when it comes to defunding, I wanted to comment on, going into areas.
Defunding police?
Yes.
Okay.
And where the truck drivers wasn't wanting to go in. And I know I'm a day late.
Right. So let me recap just very quickly. Some truck drivers are saying they don't want to go to certain places if the police aren't going to be servicing those places, or if the funding is cut for the police in those places. So there you go. Please, go on.
I would. I mean, the police never come any time we call them. And, if somebody's going, the freight is all insured. So it's actually up to the business, and we can lock ourselves in our truck. You can't carry a gun; it's illegal. But I can carry my bear spray, which is not illegal since I'm a mountain driver.
That makes some sense. I mean, better than nothing.
I think it's fine for the drivers to make that choice for themselves, right? If you don't want to haul the load that you're contracted to do, someone else will. Don't expect that work.
Yeah.
Right.
Crystal will take it.
It's just like training. A lot of people don't like to chain their trucks in the mountains. So
chaining up the wheels,
they don't
right?
get to work. Yes, training up the wheels.
Can't they make tires that handle that? I mean, I don't know. I have never driven a big rig, period, let alone in a mountain, which I've never driven a car in.
Even if they could, you probably wouldn't want to use that type of tires on the rest of the haul.
I didn't even know what it meant. I'm from Michigan, and when I moved to California, they're talking about chaining. I'm like, I'm used to putting sand in my trunk when it rains, when it's icy and snowy and everything. But I don't know nothing about no chaining.
Well,
but it's
really
they
common
do
in
have
Colorado
some
where you
that
have a lot of
do
snow.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. How long does it take you to chain up the tires?
I can do it in 37 minutes.
Impressive.
For 6 tires.
So you just lay it out, all of them out, and then you back over them?
I flop them over, and I back over.
Got it.
I used to do it the way where I'd lay them all out when I first learned, but now it's much easier to do it the easy way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes with practice, right, and experience. You find new and faster ways to get it done, so you're not out and about, in that type of weather for a long period of time.
Thank you for your service, Crystal. Appreciate the call. And, I mean, it's if truckers don't bring the stuff for whatever reason, and maybe it's police, maybe it's riots, maybe it's protests, whatever, we're not going to have stuff. Everything we have is moved by those people. Everything.
Well, and when the whole COVID thing first started, we had a trucker call in when I was on the air saying, like, they were being mistreated at the loading docks. And I went, well, time for a trucker strike, right? Either get treated right or because nothing happens without them. And I was like, well, I can't do that.
Yeah, that would change everything.
It would. But they had leverage at that time.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,738, silver at $18.34, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,874. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/freekratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, conflicting reports about COVID-19 have sprung from both official and non-official sources. On Tuesday, Maria Van Kerkhove, PhD, of the World Health Organization, caused a firestorm of reactions from health experts across the globe after declaring in a press briefing that transmission of COVID-19 via asymptomatic individuals is very rare. Minpress News reports that less than a day later, Kerkhove was compelled to walk her statements back, clarifying that in essence, no one really knows. The harshest criticisms to the WHO's comments came mostly from the mainstream press, while the scientific community itself seemed more reserved, and in some cases, concurred. Professor Keith Neal, Emeritus Professor of the Epidemiology of Infectious Diseases at the University of Nottingham, conceded that the role asymptomatic transmission plays in the total number of new infections remains unclear, but symptomatic people are responsible for most of the new infections of COVID-19. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Last week, a West Virginia law imposing strict reporting requirements for all asset forfeitures in the state went into effect. Enactment of the bill takes the first step that could lead to substantial reforms, including closing a federal loophole that allows police to bypass strict state asset forfeiture laws. Activist Post reports a bipartisan coalition of 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat introduced the House bill in February. The new law requires law enforcement agencies to report extensive details about asset forfeitures in the state, including the type and value of property seized and whether someone was charged with a crime when the property was forfeited. It also requires reporting on federal equitable sharing. Under the law, the information will be compiled on a publicly available website. After police in Seattle, Washington retreated from the Capitol Hill neighborhood, protesters took over the abandoned regime precinct and erected barricades to mark an autonomous zone for several blocks around it. 6 blocks of downtown Seattle have been declared the Free Capitol Hill Zone, or Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, according to area activists that have taken control of Seattle PD's East Precinct on 12th Avenue and East Pine Street. The Free Thought Project reports journalist Julio Rosas tweeted photos from the zone, including flyers demanding that Seattle PD be defunded, and declaring that police will, quote, always be racist because capitalism requires inequality, end quote. Police Chief Carmen Best confirmed that her department evacuated the precinct on Monday evening as an exercise in trust and de-escalation. 2 days earlier, Seattle PD used flashbangs and pepper spray to push back demonstrators at 11th Avenue and Pine Street, just a block away, after they had moved a security barricade and allegedly threw objects at officers. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
CEO Jeff Potkel went berserk earlier this morning, becoming drenched in his own blood and the blood of several employees as he viciously demanded the staff produce more web video content, or he would, quote, f***ing kill them all.
We need more videos! Videos with bands! Random videos! Funny videos! I want a video with a celebrity! I don't give a shit which one! You think this is funny? I'll show you funny!
He threw our office manager's body against the door and then told us that nobody could leave unless we came up with 3 original video ideas. Then he made us watch as he bit his own tongue in half.
People don't want to read! They want videos! They want to sit at work and watch videos! Video. videos need to go viral. Viral! Viral! Viral!
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves, because that's what we do live, obviously. We are live from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, whether it's standard or daylight. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
The number, 855-450-3733. Let's go to the phones right off the bat here. We got Jason calling in from Colorado. Jason, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have a would you rather question for you tonight.
I love these.
Okay, this one, let me preface this. Think of V for Vendetta, where the whole Buckingham Palace and all this stuff blows up in a spectacular effect.
Remember the 5th of November.
That's right. Would you rather destroy the pyramids, because they were built by slaves, or destroy all the Washington monuments, including Mount Rushmore? I know it's not in Washington, but all the big U.S.
Washington monuments, easy.
Yeah, I'm with Peakless Mountaineer.
Yeah,
I care about the pyramids.
I have to say that I think from a historical standpoint, I'm presuming that I have to choose one of these. Obviously, I'm not looking.
You want to play the game right, Mark.
I don't want to destroy any particular monuments at all, but I would say that the loss of the pyramids would be a far more devastating problem than the loss of some relatively new monuments about which we know everything.
And you say they were built by slaves. I'll say aliens, and then that'll solve that.
Yep.
Well, and I think the risk of a loss of history is more pertinent with the pyramids than it is with the Washington Monument. We're not going to forget that America was a country for a little while, whereas the Egyptian civilization, well, that's a tougher matter.
Well, what do you think an Antifa person would pick?
Well, they pretty clearly are destroying the monuments.
They would destroy anything nearby. Which one's easier to walk to?
Well, I think the Washington monuments would probably be more pertinent to them. But I certainly don't see them as being against destroying the pyramids because they were built by slaves.
Right, so there's...
it's harder to burn down the pyramids, too.
An Antifa person, or whatever we're calling... I mean, I guess Antifa has now become this catch-all for whoever those protester people are, right? They don't generally want to talk about... Young people I've found do not want to talk about what, in fact, slavery is. They want to say that slavery only existed in the United States from 16 whatever, I don't know the date, that it began 400 years ago until now. That the fact that slavery is the state of man since the agrarian revolution, by and large, that...
And before.
And here's a really fun fact that you can throw in the face of somebody who wants to talk about slavery. There was a time in human history when on the planet only 1 out of 17 males got to breed. Now that means that all the males that were running around in the bush still hunting their food with spears likely were able to breed. That's my guess. And it's, what were the numbers of the ones that were building the pyramids? And you rightly say that a person should be called a slave if they have involuntarily had their testicles removed, because they just don't have the same level of freedom as somebody else does. Maybe slavery was different than it was in the United States, and there's certainly some unpleasant aspects to U.S. slavery, no doubt, but there's unpleasant aspects to all forms of slavery. I love Django Unchained, by the way, if you ever get an opportunity. Best anti-American slavery film out there.
Seen it. Good movie.
Yes, so awesome.
I did read it. I did read an article earlier today before asking this question that the first slaves in America were actually white people from the Britons and the Scottish and Ireland. So.
So if you bring that up, here's the problem, right?
No one cares.
Well, you're talking about slavery as a big term, not slavery as sort of chattel slavery, and that's the problem with terminology, right? So they were impressed, picked up, drug against their will, in some cases they signed up for it because life sucked. You're right, like you could actually starve to death in these places. So, okay, I'll sign a piece of paper that says I get a meal for the next 7 years, and sometimes somebody beats me. And then they, sometimes those 7 years turn to 10 if their masters could make a claim that they didn't work hard enough or whatever the case might have been. Maybe they were sick for a year, who knows? And then at some point or another, they get a small piece of land, and then they're off on their own. And this is what frankly happened to my ancestors. They came across before the Revolutionary War and promptly got very poor and stayed that way. So yeah, I mean, is it slavery? Yes, it is a form of bondage. But there's on the other end, some of the leftists will say that we have wage slavery, where you make a decision to go to work every day, but you have to do it because if you didn't, you wouldn't have money.
You're oppressed by nature. Is also how they term it.
So well, now that's actually the question there. Are you oppressed by nature or by civilization? Now, I'm definitely on the side of it is nature that is always trying to kill you, kind of feeding you if you're careful about it, but always trying to starve you to death and bring storms and kill you. And our way around that was civilization, which can oppress you if you do it wrong. And that really is the question. Is it nature that's killing you, or is it society that's killing you?
It's what's killing you is your addiction to civilization. Because it's a lot easier to live here than it is to live out there. It's still possible to go out and live off the land. You can eat the pine seeds and catch the odd marmot, and you'll survive, and you'll probably be relatively healthy until 35, maybe 40.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, it's possible in that sort of like an entire human being might suddenly appear according to the laws of quantum physics. It's possible.
What's possible?
To go out into the wilderness and survive.
Oh,
there's very little to eat there, and you probably don't know what it is.
Well,
yeah. If you watch an episode of Naked and Afraid, you'll find out very quickly that nature is not your friend. It's trying to kill you, eat you, sting you, and starve you.
So the
and burn
alternative
you.
is to get a job for some capitalist pig, suck it up, flip your burgers, live in the basement, and then complain about it online.
I kind of feel like, having lived out in the country on a farm, that I could figure this out in the out in nature. But maybe I'm wrong.
Give it a shot.
Well, that's the thing is I don't want to.
Wouldn't recommend it. Would not recommend it.
Addicted.
Sounds like a good contest for Pork Fest.
Now on the side of
Thanks, Jason.
Of wage slavery, I mean, there is actually a good argument to say that okay, and from the libertarian perspective, we're well aware of the interference that we're well aware of the interference that the government makes in the market. I mean, there are a lot of advantages that are simply not available to ordinary people that are available to you if you are connected to government. So there really is the setup of a forced hierarchy because of that. Yeah. And I think that's really the root of a lot of the capitalist pig rhetoric, is that you do have an unfair fixed game the
game's fixed. It's just that people are using, in my opinion, old, unuseful rhetoric. One of the reasons socialism didn't catch on the same way in the United States as it did in Europe was that Europe didn't have the transition period of the republic that the United States did. So in many cases, Germany, England, France not so much, but France has always been revolutionary, it seems. They had these time frames where it's like you couldn't move. Like, people still try to use this rhetoric. And
there's social mobility here that simply didn't exist there.
Right. The social mobility didn't and really doesn't even still exist in Europe the way that it exists here. And maybe it's in the mindset of the serfs that never moved. Maybe it's, I don't know, but the leftists would love you to believe that here in the United States. But I'm telling you, as somebody who has done it, that you can move relatively easily and relatively quickly with just making – easy is not the right term. Simply. You can move simply from the lowest socioeconomic class to the middle socioeconomic class. You need luck to get from middle to the highest, but you might very well get to upper middle with good practices.
Well, but you're also talking – you already admitted that it's a fixed system. So what is the wage slave supposed to do to go from low to middle in that fixed system?
Stop spending your money on nonsense.
Keep a job for a year.
work and don't waste your money. Just keep it. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
She became overweight, stinky, several vertebrae fused together. Sophie was going to be euthanized. DINOVITE.com. I remember Sophie starting the Dinovite. She has loved it. She is no longer stinky. She is full of life. Dinovite is nutrition. Get them on Dinovite right away while they're healthy.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in and talk about what's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. We had previously discussed the Porcupine Freedom Festival and Fork Fest here on the air, and I just want to tell you they're happening. It's
soon.
Yeah, porkfest.com, forkfest.party. The dates are the 23rd of June through the 5th of July.
It was the 22nd of June.
Maybe it's the
Monday.
22nd. I could be wrong here.
Okay.
It's 2 weeks of fun and frolicking in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. How occupied is it going to be? How many people are going to be there? No
Depends
idea.
on you.
I have no idea. Could this be the greatest one ever? It sure could. Could it be the worst one ever? It sure could. I have no idea. But it's, well,
I'd say its very existence means that it's not going to be the worst one ever.
855-450-3733. Check them out. It's porkfest.com, forkfest.party. Richie Rich, your claim was, when we went off the air, was that I did not communicate well what I
needed clarification.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. So my question was, before we went off the air, was what is the wage slave to do to move from the lower echelon socially to the middle echelon socially? And the response that I got was save your money and don't spend it, and that'll move you up the ladder.
Yes.
My interpretation of that was continue to be a wage slave until you can afford not to be.
All right. Let me see if I can make that a little easier. First off, I reject the terminology wage slave, but that was the terminology that was trotted out during that segment.
And I'm generally on your side on this. However, these are concerns that get raised.
Right. So I would do jobs as a teenager, as a 20-year-old, even as a 30-year-old, that I simply will not do as a 40-year-old.
Okay.
Like, I'm just unwilling to do those jobs. And I don't know why that is. Maybe I've reached a certain point. Maybe if I fell economically, I would be willing to do those. I don't know the answer to that.
That's probably a part of it, right? You don't have to do those lower jobs anymore because you've built yourself out of it.
Right.
And it's not on the table.
You take the jobs that you can, and you don't take the jobs that you don't have to.
I worked retail. I worked construction. I worked, convenience stores. I worked jobs that are not pleasant, considered sort of the lowest out there. It's relatively easy to get out of the bottom quintile because most of the people in the bottom quintile are there who, they don't work much. There's not many people with jobs sitting in the bottom quintile. The bottom quintile being the bottom 20% of earners. And they're getting checks. They're, unable to move well. They have medical problems. They got all kinds of things. So moving into the working class, which is the second to bottom quintile, lots easier. Moving through it into the middle class is a bit harder. So what you got to do in that circumstance is that you got to make money, whether it's working at a job that you don't want to do, waiting for the job that you want to do more of, to the point that, because freedom is doing what you want to do, so long as you don't harm other people. And freedom is sort of characterized in modern society as doing what you want to do and having money.
Okay.
So
the wage slave not doing what they want to do, else they wouldn't consider themselves a wage slave.
Right.
And without the freedom or liberty to move out of that, as soon as they would like.
So wage slave, meaning somebody who's working at a job that they dislike for whatever reason.
Getting paid less than they feel they're worth.
Right. They should work at that job until they can get a job where they either get paid more and dislike it, or like it and get paid the same.
Okay.
At which point they then work towards a job where they're getting paid more and like it, and at some point or another, you find your medium. Once you're relatively happy in a job and making relatively good money, then you just show up every day, keep a smile on your face, have a plucky attitude, be chipper, right, and enjoy your work, act like you enjoy your work, to the point where you can then perhaps maybe go on and start your own business where you get paid exactly what you're worth. Because what else would you get paid?
And what would the time frame be for this wage slave? Right? Like how long do they stick it out with these menial tasks? Because you make it sound easy, right? Just do the job you're in until something better comes along. And I'm sure for a lot of them, the something better coming along is non-existent, which is why they feel trapped.
You may have to move locations, right? Like you could be in, I've never lived in the places like the Rust Belt or whatever. I don't know what it's like in those places. You may have to change your people, places, and things. I couldn't claim that. But yeah, it's going to come along. That better job will come along, and you simply have to continue doing it until then.
Okay.
I had a radio gig that went under. Sometimes this happens in radio. If you haven't been fired in radio, you haven't been in radio. Well, I had another gig that was coming up in a month. Well, what was I going to do in that amount of time? I went out and got a taxi cab license, and I drove a cab. Was I happy about driving a cab between my radio gigs? No. I felt like I'd reached a certain point in life, but I had to have the money because I'd spent it all.
I was going to say, if you had savings, you wouldn't have. You can survive a month.
Yeah, in my case, get a good wife is really the best choice.
Well, so one thing I wanted to bring up as far as like how long does it take you to get out of the wage slavery position? So I mean, one of the big issues with this is that anyone who knows what the Fed is pretty well aware that we are constantly being stolen from. Now, if we weren't having all of this wealth constantly taken from us, then it would be a lot shorter of a time frame of work the job that you have until you can get the one you want.
Sure. I would say that bolsters their position then, because not only are they at the job that they want, they're stuck there longer because of something out of their control.
Freedom is relatively easy to look at. It's doing a job that you want to do, whatever that work is, and having the money to have the things that you want to have. Some people need to have private jets, in which case they're going to have to work a lot more and have a lot more money. I don't think most of us need that.
Like you said it yourself, if you're moving from middle to upper, it's a lot of it's luck.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a hard work aspect to it, but lucky is an important factor for that too.
Luck matters when you're talking about getting into the
middle to upper, not from lower to middle.
Right. Like maybe the upper middle class, certainly the upper class. Luck is involved, and I can't tell you how to be lucky, but I can tell you that I moved between lower to middle and had paid off a house, and that gave me the flexibility to be able to invest in ways that made life easier. So
fair enough.
There you go. All right. So as far as, the money and that sort of thing goes, how to have a better life, I think that money is probably one of the better ways to do it in modern society. I think a lot of these protesters and these sorts of people want to have a good life, but they want the money to come from the government. And I don't think you're ever going to have freedom relying on the state to give you money.
Well, they're relying on that because the government is the force in which you can use to steal money from the wealthy and the productive and redistribute it out to them.
Well, yeah, and it's hard to feel bad for the wealthy because in many cases the wealthy got where they were through collusion with the state and those sorts of things. However, some people got there by making good decisions. Maybe you should make good decisions. 855. What's that?
Couldn't hurt.
Couldn't hurt. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. Free Talk Live. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. This COVID-19 thing has turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what's not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover, but thrive. Email my sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
That's Peakless Mountaineer.
As opposed to bottomless pit, apparently.
Apparently.
Well, the opposite of a bottomless pit is a peakless mountain.
Indeed.
Gotcha. I'm on my way up.
The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. If you want to connect with other libertarians out there, ones who are doing business, go to liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a way that you can list your business for free as long as you believe in the non-aggression principle. You go to liberty.menu and people can go there and check it out, and you're doing business. It's even got a social media aspect to it. Liberty.menu. So it's been a fun show. We've been talking about lots of fun stuff. I think that we've got to address this issue.
Uh-oh.
CNN. A community seeks answers after a young black man is found hanging from a tree in Los Angeles County.
Suicide.
Dozens of people gathered at a Palmdale City Council chambers Friday as officials held a press conference on the death of a 24-year-old black man who was found hanging from a tree in northern Los Angeles County. Shortly after 3:30 a.m. Monday, a passerby noticed a man, later identified as Robert Fuller, hanging from a tree in Palmdale, California. Fire department personnel who responded to the scene determined he was dead. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, they had said that in a statement. Palmdale is described as an alleged death by suicide. Sadly, it is not the first such incident since the COVID-19 pandemic began, and that the city remains committed to addressing mental health issues during these difficult times we are in together, says some spokesbureaucrat.
That's a different angle than I thought you were going to go with it. They're saying possible suicide because of the whole COVID lockdown.
Lots of people. Like, I've been watching the numbers of deaths in America according to the CDC. I don't care about the number of cases of COVID. I don't care about the number of deaths claimed by COVID, because supposedly hospitals are getting more money if somebody dies of COVID. What I want to know is how many people have died.
Okay.
And I don't know if they've died of COVID. I don't know if they've died of suicide. I don't know if they've died of an abusive spouse that they were forced to be locked in with. I don't know if they died of alcohol poisoning. But I imagine people have died of all those things in America in the last several weeks. But I can tell you deaths are now getting into the range of what is considered sort of normal and acceptable by the Center for Disease Controls. Well, maybe we'll have more.
As far as suicides and things like that, the last I checked, it was 70,000 deaths since the outbreak of COVID. Are called deaths of despair. So your very heavy drinking, your suicides, things like that.
70,000 deaths in that time frame would be probably the majority of the deaths that occurred in that time frame. I don't know. I mean, it's claim, right? And I haven't.
Well, and that would be in addition to the official COVID numbers, right?
Well,
because they're not attributing
what if
that
both?
to the
What
disease.
if they died of drinking and had COVID? What do you think they're going to get called?
That would be a COVID death.
Yeah. So, as far as this death specifically, what's it make you think when you hear about a black guy hanging from a tree?
It really makes me wish that we could trust the people determining that this was a suicide.
That's what it makes me think, too, is I would like to know whether this was a suicide or this was a lynching. It's a terrifying picture, and I can see why people are concerned, because it harkens back to a time when things were pretty yucky. All right, so
what if it's a psyop and it's a suicide by blacks on blacks, so it can be looked at as a lynching and raise more ire amongst the black community?
What if it's the shape-shifting lizards that live beneath Stapleton Airport?
Then we have a whole new enemy.
Indeed. So right here,
it's not new.
the Palmdale mayor says we're working hard to figure out exactly what happened. Attendees to this meeting asked for camera footage of the incident, but a city official said that there was none. Throughout the news conference, officials repeatedly called it an ongoing investigation, saying full autopsy is underway. After the press conference, the city issued a statement saying it understands the community's call for a full investigation into the death, and we will fully explore with the Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles County Coroner's offices, and any other investigative agencies looking into the matter. We're all awaiting all available details surrounding this tragedy. In addition, we are working with local community leaders to increase the dialogue on how we can best work together and build a safer and more inclusive community. This is CNN, and this is the closest thing to the news I have on this subject.
So not really the news.
What's that?
So not really the news.
Well, what is the news?
I don't know.
The news is something, but you can't call it facts, because we don't know what happened. We know that, here's the fact, right? Yeah. This guy, Fuller, appears to be black. He appears to have been hanging for some reason from a tree. It's not like people hanging from trees is terribly unusual in America, honestly. People hang themselves all the time. Some of them must hang themselves from trees.
It happens.
A person hanging from a tree that is black is going to immediately recall lynchings in the South.
Unfortunately.
Now, he wasn't hanging in Biloxi, Mississippi, which perhaps is a good thing or bad thing. I don't know. But certainly the people of L.A. are very concerned with this, and I think that it's worth looking at, especially in a time when groups that are racially active, racially concerned are... I mean, like, what happened?
It's poor timing.
Yeah.
If everything surrounding racial issues wasn't going on right now, it may not have had the same impact as it does now.
Let's talk about that. A black guy falls asleep, presumably because of drugs or alcohol or a combination of the two, in a Wendy's drive-through line. Not in the parking lot, in the drive-through.
Yep, I saw that article.
And somebody calls the police, we don't know who, and the police, after fighting with the guy, presumably, we don't have that on video, but we do have him running away with a taser in his hand. It looks like he fired the taser at the police. Then they shot him in the back. Now, according to the fleeing felon rules or whatever, they can do that, but that doesn't make it acceptable and whatever. The Wendy's is smoking rubble. The police chief has resigned. I mean,
probably a good idea.
Well, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because if that happened on your watch and there's already been violence against police and they know who you are, you become a target potentially. And if you resign, you're saying, I don't want any part of this. Please don't come after me. Have at it.
You are responsible for the people under your command.
I suspect, you are and you aren't. The people under your command aren't going to do the things that you want them to do ever, but I mean, you have this sort of responsibility as a hierarchical. In fact,
Good reason not to be in command of people.
Right. In fact, what happens is that the punishment flows downhill and tends to hurt the people in the bottom more than the people on the top, but whatever the case may be. I tend to think there wouldn't have been the outcry of this particular situation had it been had he not been black, right?
Absolutely.
Like it would have been an entirely different situation if this was not in Atlanta and the guy hadn't been black,
right? Or if it wasn't now, right?
Because and now
for right now, there's an uprising, for lack of a better term, surrounding the racial issue.
Yep.
Right. The racial disparity of cops on black crimes has been a thing for years, but for whatever reason, now there's a movement like really, really behind it. And if it wasn't George Floyd, maybe it would have been this Wendy's guy that sparked the outrage.
The Wendy's guy wasn't even unarmed. I mean, they had the cop's taser.
Right.
It was at the beginning.
So maybe not. It may have just blown over then as, no, this was obviously, violence, requiring violence.
I think it had a lot to do with COVID and everybody's locked up and getting a check. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be the biggest factor of all of the protests, the riots. I mean, if these people were at work or at home sleeping after a hard day's work, they wouldn't have been out there.
So 1968, the most recent year that you can compare to 2020 as far as unrest goes, the Hong Kong flu was sweeping America. And people were sequestering to some extent.
Wait, that's not what this one is?
85. No, this is the
Wuhan flu. Right.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNloans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNloans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNloans.com. That's GCNloans.com.
You know what's really smart?
Wash your hands frequently, practice social distancing, and stay home if told to do so.
You know what's really dumb?
To ignore your immune system.
Right now, more than ever, your health depends on a strong immune system.
The experts at Immunocorp will give you their 7-step guide to immunity for life, free.
Why? Because we want you to be smart and healthy.
Simply call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com.
Immunocorp has been producing the world's leading immune system products for more than 2 decades.
To get your free 7-step guide to immunity for life, call 800-446-3063. 800-446-3063.
Be smart. Don't ignore your immune system. Your life depends on it.
Call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com. Immunityforlife.com.
We've all seen and perhaps use the alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Have you noticed how it dries your skin, and as soon as the alcohol evaporates, it's no longer effective? GCNteam.com has alcohol-free antibacterial soap and foam meeting or exceeding all requirements set forth by the United States Food and Drug Administration. Come to GCNteam.com, keyword antibacterial, or call 877-878-4203.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Final segment of Free Talk Live. The possibility exists that I could take your call. So I'll give you the number one more time. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450, free as in freedom. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
And also the Discord lines are open. I don't think we've had any calls on Discord tonight. Discord.freetalklive.com. That's discord.freetalklive.com. You got to sign up there, but it's not that hard. Speaking of things that are not that difficult to do, you can go to amp.freetalklive.com and support the show as that JC guy has. He's a platinum amplifier, meaning $25 a month. We don't ask for that. We ask for $5 a month at the AMP program. So please go there and support what we do here, which is freedom of speech for everybody but James in Arizona. 855-450-3733. It's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Mike calling in from Virginia. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes. Concerning the shootings that have happened with the police officers and the African-American community, statistically, there are twice as many white people that are shot by police than black people.
How many more white people
should also riot?
Well, what would happen if the white people rioted, Mike?
That's a good question. I don't know. One of the thoughts that I've had is I do believe that if someone is being detained or arrested and are going to be handcuffed or, something like that, I think the wise thing to do is simply to comply with what the police officers are doing. Whether you agree with what they're saying about what you did or did not do, whatever it is.
That's easy for white people to say, by the way.
Yeah, I think that probably my thought is, I'm just speculating. My thought is that the black community, the culture there, is probably is very defensive towards the police community, and that's even proven in the fact when they're trying to do investigations and the black community is not as forthcoming about being witnesses and things.
Yeah, I think that's because probably a long history of the police and not feeling protected by the police. And I would say with the George Floyd situation, what I have seen of that video, he wasn't being non-compliant. So in this instance,
except for the middle part of the video where they don't have anything on camera. Right, that's the excuse there.
There's always a part that wasn't on camera, and
you missed the part where he was giving him hell.
Whatever the case may be, and I think that's why everybody got so upset, because this guy just looks like he was killed, and I mean, that clearly that's going to have to happen at some point, and maybe it was related to his race, maybe it was related to these guys working together, maybe it was a bunch of things, but it seems to have set off the perfect storm as far as protests go and that kind of thing. So thanks for the call, Mike.
Yep.
Appreciate the call. I would say that, yes, white people are twice as likely perhaps to be killed by the police, but there's more than twice as many of them as black people. So
I've been pulled over, and I had no qualms about reaching into my glove compartment to grab my documentation while the cop stood by the window, because I never once felt like I was threatened to be shot for doing so.
I keep my hands on the wheel.
That's fine, too.
I also keep my fire department helmet in the back seat.
Good strategy.
Which, it doesn't matter what your color is, that thing helps, I can assure you.
Guaranteed.
It's great. And if they shine in, they see that fire department helmet, the interaction tends to go much better. I
flashed my flashlight back at the cop because he had his, and I went beep and shot mine right.
Oh yeah, you are no fun to deal with for police, I can imagine.
Not at all. But I also, I'm also not black, and so I don't feel like they're going to escalate to violence based on skin color.
I saw that. What's the comedian something and Peele?
Keenan Peele?
Keenan Peele. They did a bit where they like a sovereign citizen kind of person, or somebody was being a white guy was being non-compliant with the police, where it's a white guy being non-compliant with a white police officer, and then a black police officer comes up and punches the non-compliant guy in the mouth, and it's like, we don't put up with that or whatever. And you would think that there would be some kind of solidarity, because Keenan Peele are all about the black people are being abused. Well, how do you think it's going to get any better? So whatever. Well, I never understood that.
I agree with the caller that it is the wise thing not to put up any fuss whatsoever, but that's not necessarily the good thing to do.
It's a what do they call it? A market failure. So, for instance, if you're in a line of centurion, a line of a legionary, a Roman legion, right? You've got your shields and your what were the little swords they had called? Gladiuses, and you're marching towards the other guys, and you're going to fight. The best thing for you to do is to run away. And you're not going to get hurt. However, they're set up so that you can't run away. But if you all stick together, you're going to win. It's when the line breaks up, and if you individually, when dealing with a police officer, you remain compliant, you don't have any problems, and just take it up in their day of court, then they get paid time and a half to testify against you, and the judge believes them over you because they are a super citizen and you are just a crappy, lowly serf who is supposed to pay for the whole government bureaucracy. And then it all looks very, very easy.
There's a video that I've seen recently. It's floating around the internet, right? They're arresting a black guy for whatever reason. They have their guns drawn on him. He's standing there. He puts his hands up in the air, and then the cop just runs up behind him and jump kicks him in the back. Right? Just boom. Did he say something? Did he do something? Was he not complying with their orders? And then as soon as he turned around to go what the hell was that? They tackled him. Right? So I don't fear that happening to me or a white dude. But if you're black, you can comply and still get injured by the police, because they will bait you with stuff like that.
Maybe you don't fear it, but it does. I mean, I think this would be a better movement if it was about a police accountability movement as opposed to a, black people are treated badly movement.
Right.
That's my opinion.
But you're not going to get white people to get behind the police accountability movement as easily, because he said twice as many white people get shot, and we don't care.
It is hard to get the emotional motivation behind a racial distrust issue is a lot more tenable than the emotional motivation behind the lack of accountability of police.
Right. I think that if I had to address this and explain why this might be the case, is I would say that in-group preference for white people is lower than it is for black people. And there may be very good reasons for that. When you've got a relatively recent historical issue of black businesses being burned down and the police don't want to investigate your crimes and these kind of things, you tend to get insular. Now, what is not understood, I think, by some black activists is that you do not want white people to have in-group preference. That goes really badly.
I would really like non-police to have an in-group preference.
Right. That would be at this point, we don't even have that as a group, right? Like citizens that aren't cops, isn't even a group that's referred to. So, it's got its problems. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, sorry talking through your time. What's up, man?
This boring call is for James in Arizona.
Yeah, well, he was waiting on the line. Yeah. I'm sure he's hearing you.
I told you, David knows
hey,
who's
James.
ahead of him in line.
What?
I was telling Mark during the break that when you call in, you know who's ahead of you in the call line.
Oh, yeah, right. Hey, James, how's it going, man? Now I forgot what I was going to say.
It says stuff is your call topic here.
Stuff, yeah. Well, what I wanted for the Indians out there listening on KENN, I want to know if you have to pick this up next week when you hear next weekend. But do you feel, since that COVID virus has struck the Navajo res, as hard as it has struck New York City, and in other words, you're tied for the worst place in the nation, do you feel like there's a smallpox blanket that's been floated around that reservation? I want to know what Indians think about that, if that's has come up in their discussion at all.
You should call into a local New Mexico radio show that discusses these topics.
Well, if only you could.
I am. Well, it's a nationwide problem, and you are being heard live on KENN in Four Corners, beautiful FC USA.
I would love to have a call from an Indian on what's the reservation?
Navajo
Reservation, because we never have. I mean, we've been on KENN for some time and never had a call from an Indian from the res. So
put down the whiskey and pick up the phone.
Oh God! I hope you have Native American blood in you, because I'd never make that joke. 855-450. I'm giving it's check out freetalklive.com. Damn it, Richie.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network.